Hello everybody. We were actually going to be having a hangout with Chris UK, but the quality was just so bad. You know, it didn't even hold his face properly and he was going it up. So anyway, we've decided to do it this way. We decided to actually play the video. That's very important, the information he's got. And also to have a little bit of a chit chat afterwards, and we're going to premiere this, and obviously Chris will be in the chat room, and it'd be nice to hear your thoughts. And also a big thank you and to John Smith Globe Live, who both made this video and this information, so thank you very much guys. On with the video.
The video you're about to watch is questioning whether we live on a globe. If you don't like that, time to move on and leave a daft comment at the bottom. I've got overwhelming evidence that this is nonsense, using physics. Rigid body rotation with transmission. Use the physics of that to work out whether a spinning ball moving through space is at constant velocity, constant speeds, and it's not by no means. Enjoy the video. Here on Earth, we can stand on a mountain top and we can't feel movement. In space on the ISS, astronauts can float and not feel any movement because we're told we're moving at a constant speed through space, revolving 1,000 miles an hour, travelling through space at 67,000 miles per hour. So we just can't feel anything. Is this true? So we're looking at two constants. The constant spin of the globe at 1,000 miles an hour and the constant speed of 67,000 miles per hour as we move through space around the sun. Constant speed. Now, it doesn't matter if we're doing 67,000 miles per hour through space or 500 miles per hour on a jet plane, 80 miles an hour on a motorplane or 30 miles an hour on a train. As long as that speed is constant, we won't feel any change. But if that speed changes by, say, 10 miles an hour in 10 seconds, we'd notice it. And it doesn't matter what that constant speed is, we'd notice it the same at all constant speeds. Here we have a fairground ride. Now we have a disc that spins at a constant speed. And the disc, while spinning, moves along the track. So what we're looking at is the speed along the track. So if you look at the wizard at the centre, what speed he's doing, backwards and forwards, and then you as a passenger, as you spin, what speed are you doing along the direction of the track? As you spin, you're accelerating and decelerating, faster and slower along the track. So pick a person and watch them as they move backwards and forwards as they're spinning. Now let's say you pick the man in the red dot. Now he's accelerated from the blue dot position to come level with the side of the wizard. So he's going faster than the wizard to catch up with him. So here we have the man in the red dot again. He's moved ahead of the wizard and he's had to decelerate to get to this point at the side of the wizard. Here we have a top view of our ride. The base is revolving. It's not moving side to side. Everybody in the ride is at a constant speed around the circumference of the base. If this changed in a short amount of time by, say, 2 miles per hour, people will be jolted from side to side. Well, this is our first constant. Our second constant. The base isn't revolving, it's just moving along the track. As it moves along the track, everybody is moving at the same speed, at a constant speed. However, this changed, again by 2 miles an hour in a short space of time. People would be jolted forward or backwards. Now let's combine our two constants. We're revolving at a constant speed and moving along the track at a constant speed. Now you're the dark green spot moving along the track. The only part of this circle moving along the track, moving at a constant speed, is the middle. As you move along, you're accelerating and decelerating along the track. So here the centre of the disc is moving at a constant speed, but you are decelerating to get to the back of the centre. So here again the centre is moving at a constant speed, but you are accelerating to get ahead of the centre.
As you're rotating around the circumference and that centre point is moving in one direction, you're constantly accelerating and decelerating as you rotate in the direction of the base. So how do we know what direction the Earth is moving around the Sun? On the lit side of Earth, the Sun's terminator line gives us the direction Earth is travelling at all times. Now this rocket is an example of what's happening to you, say, on the equator or people on the ISS. As we make that journey, supposedly around the Sun at 67,000 miles an hour. And what speeds increase and decrease along that journey because we're revolving as we go. Our rocket's off, it's travelling at over 67,000 miles per hour to catch up with Earth. And then it's ordered to stay a set distance from Earth out of the gravitational pull to follow Earth. Now this rocket is doing 67,000 miles per hour. The solid red arrow on the right indicates the speed Earth is travelling around the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour. The blacked out red arrow indicates the speed of the rocket as it tracks the Moon. It's now set at Earth 67,000 miles per hour, rocket speed 67,000 miles per hour. Our rocket will shortly be ordered to track the Moon as it orbits Earth. The Moon travels around the Earth at 2,288 miles per hour. Our meter on the right hand side shows plus and minus 2,288 miles per hour. So this meter is showing the variations of the speed above and below 67,000 miles per hour. Now this rocket is doing 67,000 miles per hour to keep up with Earth. To track the Moon, it has to accelerate above and beyond that speed, plus 2,288 miles an hour and minus 2,288 miles per hour. So we're accelerating and decelerating. So now let's have a look at the ISS. This is travelling and orbiting Earth at 17,000 miles per hour, doing various orbits around Earth. We're looking at one orbit. The orbit that goes closest to the crossing of the equator and the Sun's terminator line. Any other orbit will not show us the massive variations in acceleration and deceleration. Our rocket is now tracking the ISS as it orbits Earth. The Earth is travelling at 67,000 miles per hour, so to keep behind the ISS as it rotates around Earth, it has to increase and decrease by 17,000 miles per hour to keep up with the ISS. This is an acceleration and deceleration chart. At the bottom we have degrees of rotation. Now this can be the ISS, it can be the Moon, it can be a point on the equator. On the left hand side we have our speed, plus and minus. The centre green line denotes the 67,000 mile an hour Earth travels around the Sun. So remember, that yellow dot, which is a point on the equator, it's got to be travelling at a constant speed. 1,000 miles an hour around the circumference of Earth, and 67,000 miles per hour around the Sun. If that changed in a short time, we'd notice it. So the big question is, how's this been missed? Well, we're given that the Earth moves at constant speeds as it spins, and we don't feel anything. So that's then put in a box, and we're told that constant speed is now travelling at another constant speed around the Sun. So by putting the constant speed in a box, you just think constant speed, and then another constant speed. So it all makes sense. We need to take them out of the box and work them, see how they work together. And when they work together, this is what we get. For us to feel no movement, all speeds must be constant in all directions.
Doing a constant speed. So what's constant speed? So we could be travelling at 67,000 miles an hour, 500 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour. If that speed's constant, like on this train, you feel no movement. But if that constant speed changes over a short amount of time, like 3 miles an hour a second, no matter what constant speed we're doing, we'll feel it the same at every constant speed. So we'll treat this train as Earth's journey around the Sun. So don't forget, I'm travelling at the same speed as the train. So if I move my hand towards the front of the train, my hand moves faster than the train. If I move my hand to the back of the train, my hand is slower than the train. But don't forget, if you're on a globe spinning, you're spinning, and as this point rotates, it's moving towards the front of the train. This point is moving towards the back of the train. And as we're constantly rotating and moving forward, you're accelerating and decelerating as it rotates. So that's Earth traveling at 1,000 miles an hour. So imagine we're doing 67,000 miles an hour and we're on the ISS. So we're doing 67,000 miles an hour that way, and we're rotating 17,000 miles an hour around Earth. So these points represent the ISS spinning around Earth. As we get to here, we're travelling at 17,000 miles an hour faster than the Earth is travelling that way. As we get to here, we're travelling at 67,000 miles an hour faster that way, so we're going slower by 17,000 miles an hour than Earth. Travelling at 67,000 miles an hour. The ISS is travelling at 17,000 miles an hour. And this rotation is going that way, and this rotation is going that way. So like on the train, it's doing 67,000 miles an hour that way, and I'm right ahead by 17,000 miles an hour. I'm doing 17,000 miles an hour faster than the train. I'm going to run down that end of the train, but becoming slower by 17,000 miles. And you feel it. So get into your head that we're not looking at rotation, we're looking at one direction to travel that should be, if the flow is true, a constant speed. With rotation, that constant speed doesn't exist. It's only when we don't rotate and move that can be a constant speed. As soon as you're rotating on the edge of the ball, there's no constant speed in that direction. This is a constant speed. As soon as you have forward direction, there's no constant speed. There's one constant speed. The centre of this ball, as it spins, is the only point in this globe that is moving at a constant speed along with this track.
Captain Bridge, Pilot Road, Starboard Bridge, Brickhouse, Burfield, Dewsbury, Batley, Morley and Leeds. Any passengers for Halifax, Bradford interchange.
This is the top view of Earth. This is the North Pole. So the North Pole, travelling along this train, is travelling at, say, at one constant speed. Put something on the equator, and as it rotates and moves in this direction, this is now moving slower than the train. As it comes around, it's starting to move faster than the train. So as it rotates 1,000 miles an hour around the circumference, we're accelerating from here, we're accelerating faster than the centre point. Remember, the centre point is doing constant speed. This is constantly changing speed along that constant speed. So if rotation's got to be constant, and that direction of speed has got to be constant for us to feel no movement, it doesn't work. The only constant when we're rotating and moving is the rotation. Rotation with direction. We're accelerating in that direction and decelerating as we move, supposedly through space on a spinning ball at 1,000 miles an hour. Look at the ISS. And the ISS does several orbits, so we're told. So if I'm moving along the track at 6,000–7,000 miles an hour, and the orbit of the ISS is that way, then there's no acceleration and deceleration along that constant. But it's the orbit this way that mostly shows how ridiculous the ISS is. If we're travelling along this track at 6,000–7,000 miles an hour around the sun, and the ISS is accelerating 17,000 miles an hour, then it's decelerating at 17,000 miles an hour. It's constantly accelerating, then decelerating along that 67,000 mile an hour journey. So the ISS does one orbit in 90 minutes. So in 90 minutes, they accelerate and decelerate by 17,000 miles an hour. That's a massive acceleration and deceleration. So how can the so-called scientists on the ISS float as if still in space and be accelerating along that 167,000 mile an hour journey and decelerating at such radical amounts and still stay floating as if nothing was happening? It doesn't work. Remember, they tell us we constantly rotate, and the ISS constantly rotates at the same speed. That's why we don't feel anything. But rotation with direction, that direction speed needs to be constant as well. So for us to feel nothing, we need to have a constant that way or that way, and this needs to be a constant. that way. But as soon as we rotate, us on the edge of a globe or in an orbit, that changes for us. We accelerate and decelerate along that one journey. When you combine rotation with direction, one of them constant speeds changes. Rotation stays the same, but you on the outer ring of a rotating globe, your speed in that 67,000 mile an hour direction changes, and it changes quite dramatically when you work it out. Now this has been hidden from us, I think, quite simply, because they tell us the globe spins at 1,000 mile an hour. It's all constant, and that's it, it's fine. Then they put that in a box and say, right, it's all constant speeds. Then they go, well, this box of constant speed is now travelling at 67,000 mile an hour around the sun. So yeah, that's constant, or so it seems. But when you take these both out of the box and put rotation with direction, you on these points, as you rotate, the speed changes in this direction, the direction of travel of Earth around the sun. Right, so let's wrap up with the physics. Rigid body rotation with translation, which means a rotation that's moving at the same time. Look at the links below in the video description. So we have a point on the equator of Earth. 2 points. This is the North Pole looking down on Earth as it rotates and moves around the sun. So these 2 points, as we rotate and get to here, are moving at 67,000 mile an hour. Both of them. Well, the tangential velocity of rotation, moving 1,000 that way and then 1,000 that way. So you do the vector addition for both, linked below in the video. There's a 2,000 mile an hour difference in velocity over 12 hours. So, short video of the calculation. It's impossible for us not to feel that amount of acceleration. That's what the vector addition tells us. That's what we should be doing if we're spinning and moving through space. The ISS destroys the space illusion using rigid body rotation with translation physics. ISS, orbiting Earth, is doing 67,000 mile an hour. Same as Earth, these 2 points. Again, using the tangential velocity, 17,000, 17,000. Do the vector addition. If you know physics, you'll know what a vector addition is. So here, what speed am I doing? 50,000 miles an hour. There. What speed am I doing here according to the vector addition, sorry? 84,000 miles per hour. So once you do that over 45 minutes from there to there, because that's half an orbit, 45 minutes, every second the ISS would have to be moving like a Ferrari in this direction. The orbit stays the same, but the direction that it's going with the sun, around the sun, is dramatically changing. It would be impossible. They'd be squashed tomatoes. That's the end of the globe. Work it out. Look at the animation. This is showing the vectors as the half of the rotation. The red dashed line shows the resultant vector of the two vectors as it rotates. And note it gets bigger as it rotates. This shows that we're getting faster as it rotates. That point on that rotation is moving faster as a result of those two vectors.
Wow, Chris, what an amazing video. I really like what you did in that video. I have watched it.
Thank you very much. Harry and I have worked very hard to put that together. I've been working on this video for 12 months. The idea came to me 12 months ago. It took me up until now to get my head around how to communicate it to people. I've been on physics forums, I've been talking to other flat earthers, trying to get them to take it on, but didn't get the hang of it. So I've been just talking to physicists on forums, and some of them were at the point. Actually, two of them turned around and said, "You can't put this out." So you're adamant, "I can't do it." So it's creating a massive problem for physics because it's basic, well-known physics. It's not talked about, and it proves that we are not spinning and moving in space. Yeah.
So you've been doing this with Harry then?
We've done a lot of filming. A lot of filming's gone on the floor basically. Spent about 4 or 5 days filming different things, and then decided to cook it to the bone. And I know the audio is not brilliant because I've had a sore throat, nearly throat going now. Yeah, it's been harder work than I thought. Putting a half-an-hour video together with animations, clips all over the place, with a lot of footage, a lot more than we've got before, 20 times more.
Yeah, I know what videoing's like. I was just telling you about it when we weren't off air. If everybody understands, we were actually going to do a hangout, but the quality is so bad. It was with Dave as well, as I said, but most of his was doing a presentation, so that was on the computer. But the quality's so bad through Google Hangouts. We've decided to play Chris's video and then just talk about it afterwards, because it was the easiest way to. Because we couldn't even hear you. You were juddering so much. It's not fair, is it?
It's Chris and Harry's video.
Chris and Harry's video.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bit of help from Mark and Spencer as well.
In reality, look at it this way. It's obvious. If we were travelling that fast, can you imagine what it would be like even if you weren't in a train?
You can, but it's a strange one because it's such a big circle the tone we're on. Then it would make sense. Yeah, very little forces be acting on to work the maths out. But there is a force there that we can't measure, which is another subject that I will bring on to where I'm working. So I've got an experiment through outright, but that's for another time. But this, it don't know what to do with it. It's amazing that the comments just wipe forward. I've learned about it, I've understood what I'm talking about, and they can't argue with it.
I'd love it if you did one on planes, because you imagine every couple of seconds they'd have to be changing the gyro.
Well, the gyro one's a different one because you've got fins in the gyro and that sort of piques something in people's minds.
But
so
what I mean is, you know, don't I, when you get on an aeroplane, it's not trying to bow with the arcing of the earth. It just you know, very gracefully flies straight across the top of the clouds.
I know. Well, common sense goes out the window. It's like the shadows on. It's just seen too far the lot. It's all common sense says you're not on a ball, but that all goes out the window. Change what we look at. It's just bad. Got to be a ball. It can't be anything else.
Is this video a sort of progression from the rest? Because I was, you know, obviously you came on Sun and Moon before we lost the channel. Rah-de-rah. You know, you were doing other videos then. This is something completely different.
It's completely different from what I talked about before, but it is a progression. Well, this is one of the ideas I had very early on. I didn't fully understand how to put it across, and I knew there was a problem. It's all spinning and moving. It should feel something. No one actually sat down and worked out how the maths should work. So I had to go back 40 years looking at that. I can't remember trigonometry and everything. So I buffed up on all that and learned about vectors, physics, rotation, tons of lectures online to come up with this, make it as simple as possible so that anyone or most people can get to grips with.
It is really crazy that all you're actually talking is common sense.
The dangerous thing about this for the globe is not just common sense. Science tells them it doesn't work. So, at the end of game, really, once the physics professionals look at this and get their head around it, well, end story. They know immediately what's wrong. It's been like brainwashed into things not working. When you do look at it, it's a problem.
Yeah. Silly old, what do you call them? What are they called? Physicists.
There's there's Michel van Biezen, I think, he's in the links on the video. 3 of his lectures, and he's one of the best lecturers out there. But he did put a thing on about flat Earth, and he asked the question, is the Earth flat? And no animations on it, and it was straightforward, really nice. So he was asking flat Earthers to come back, and I put this as a question to as a comeback. And then it went all quiet, and the video came back on again about 3 weeks later. Tons of animations on it, the same video, but it changed, and he'd added a bit, saying that's definitely not flat, it's wall. And it was unlike any of his videos. I thought, this is peculiar. He's seen there's a problem. Asked a question and been told, listen, mate, put all this animation in of shooting stars, planets passing by, and he's never ever done that before in any of his videos. It's been an interesting journey to get to it.
So what are you hoping from this video then, Chris?
Just getting it out and get people to think, make their own minds out, and use their own. And some people can't.
I have to say though, it would have been really nice if they'd had someone like you at the convention.
I was at the convention and did go.
Speaker, I mean a speaker.
Yeah, I did think about phoning them up beforehand, but I wasn't quite there with some with confidence to do it. But and I was working on this video animations. We've got tons of animations that we never use. I was working on this, so I went down to give this idea out. There's some professionals there as well, and there was statistics there as well at the convention. So I talked to him. I actually sat at his table, didn't know he was a physicist. Got talking to him. Yeah, and coming back to me about looking at all my paperwork, going, wow. I also showed him an experiment that I come up, and that blew it up. Which I'll talk about when that's properly sorted out. So, yeah, it was a magical time. I only went for the day. But doing a talk, yeah, I've got every confidence that they'll be doing a talk on this. Maybe next year. But we'll see.
Well, it was a really good video. This bit, because obviously now what we've decided to do is that I'm going to copy the video and then we stick this on the end. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I'd just like to say thank you, Harry. We worked very hard.
Oh, Harry.
Yeah, it's what a journey. You start off with a little idea, and before you know it, tons of work. He's been up here twice. I've been up to Edinburgh, and we've met Carlisle doing editing in the van. So a lot of work just to produce this, and it's not the best of quality in the world. It's got a few little mistakes on it, but we're not a full crew of people. So.
Yeah, one-man bands without any real help, aren't we?
Yeah, well, you can come and do the makeup on the next one.
Okay, I'll come.
Okay.
Yeah, should we just add this bit to it? Is this enough? Is this, because we're just
Yeah, that's fine, Karen, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Patricia, Chris, thank you very much. As I say, we were going to have a hangout and then the quality was just so bad and Chris was lagging so much and it defeats it. But that doesn't. I don't know how to do it on a because everybody seems to lag on Google Hangouts.
Is there any other Hangouts? What's the other Hangout?
There are other options, I suppose. Yeah, there are. We haven't tried any of them. It's enough just doing the ones we've got. Anyway, we'll end this now. Thank you so much, Chris. At least everybody knows that you did come. It's just unfortunately, it'd have just been like those phone calls that goes and that would have just destroyed showing your information. So we're going to obviously have shown the video. But as ever,
I had all my props ready.
Anyway, oh yeah, I know. I saw them. We saw them on the sofa. And you said, what did you say? Everything's been running really nice until you came to the hangout.
Correct.
Damn. Anyway, we'll talk in a moment, but for the recording, we'll end it. But thank you so much. Wish you all the luck with your video. And of course, obviously, this will be premiered and have a chat room. So hopefully people will have some comments for you. But anyway, Patricia, are you there? Patricia?
I'm here.
Hello, darling. So we're just for the recording, we're going to say goodbye. Patricia, do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, Chris. Thank you very much. I wanted to say I love you.
Thank you very much for your support.
Yeah, back to you now. Just had to move my microphone. Anyway, don't go, Chris, because we'll talk just when I finish the recording. But for the recording, I hope everybody enjoyed that video and it's made them think even more with a lot more common sense.